I wrote a poem for my son for his birthday, and I think some of you might find it amusing. Bonus points if you get all the references. This is called Gamerscore 17 Poem of the Year Edition. Introduction. You don't appreciate poetry, but it is the hallowed obligation of parents to provide teenagers with unrequested advice, to parent-splain their experience. So, Chapter 17. It is the year 17 of the Age of Fire, and of course each new season is intended to bring with it the release of a new playable character, usually new weapons and purchasable cosmetic items. At 17, a primordial fire known as the First Flame manifests in the world, establishing a distinction between life and death, as well as light and dark. 4 beings find lost souls near the First Flame, granting immense power, and, after venturing alone into the tall grass, a 17-year-old may be stopped by Professor Oak, a famous Pokemon researcher. He'll explain that wild Pokemon may be living there, and encountering them alone can be very dangerous. At 17, you may meet Oak's grandson, a rival aspiring Pokemon trainer. You and the rival are both instructed to select a starter Pokemon for your travels to Pandora, which is believed to be rich in mineral wealth, leading several interstellar megacorporations to send colony ships there to capitalize on it. But once they arrive, they find little of value outside the undecipherable alien artifacts from a long-extinct race known as the Iridians. The numerous native life forms make it too dangerous to colonize. Many of the corporations abandon the planet, leaving their workforce former prisoners coerced into employment, who take over much of the planet as bandits and raiders, because that's how 17 goes sometimes. But I'm getting ahead of myself. In the initial battle, the Apex Predators, a group of mercenaries led by Kuban Blisk and contracted by the leader of the IMC Science Division, General Martyr, will mortally wound Lastimosa and incapacitate his Vanguard-class Titan BT-7274. Traveling through the portal, you and the other humans and elites will discover an immense artificial structure known as the Ark far beyond the edges of the Milky Way galaxy. Here, Truth can remotely activate all the halos. The Flood will arrive aboard High Charity in full force, beginning to infest the installation. With the Chantry effectively leaderless, Leilana and Cassandra Pentagast will invoke one of the Divine's last orders to re-establish the Inquisition, an organization originally formed to defend against the dangers of magic and heretics. After closing the breach with the help from rebel mages or remnants of the Templar Order, Haven will be attacked by a force led by Corpheus, an ancient Darkspawn mage. Aided by a dragon, Corpheus will overcome Haven's defenses and confront the Herald. Corpheus will refer to the mark as the Anchor, which he means to use to physically enter the Fade with the goal of attaining apotheosis for himself. These are the kinds of people you may have to deal with at 17. He'll attempt to remove the Anchor with a magical orb-shaped elven artifact, but the Herald will set off an avalanche, burying Haven and decimating Corpheus' army. Solus will lead the survivors to the abandoned fortress of Skyhold, which will become the Inquisition's new base of operations. Yes, being 17 will be challenging at times, but many resources, such as metal ores, can be found while exploring caves. At 17, you begin with low health and mana, which can be increased by finding certain items. Some resources may only be found in certain areas of the map, stored in common and rare containers, or dropped by certain enemies. You will learn to use resources to craft new items and equipment at an appropriate crafting station for that recipe. For example, tables or other items can be crafted at a workbench, bars can be smelted from ore at a furnace, and armor can be crafted at an anvil. But sometimes being 17 is complicated. For example, during their mission, 2B and 9S discovered that the machines were exploring human societies and concepts. The two worked with a pacifist machine group led by Pascal, battled Adam and Eve, physical manifestations of the machine network, who revealed that their creators were destroyed centuries ago, and encountered A2, a rogue android on the run from Yorha. The second sister and the ninth sister were sent to investigate. After the second sister killed Prouf for speaking up against the Empire, Cal made his escape, briefly engaging in a duel with the second sister before he was rescued by former Jedi Knight Ser Junda and her partner, pilot Grease Dritus, in their ship, the Stinger Mantis. I'm not saying that will happen to you, but things may get even worse at 17. Furious at the unwanted police attention, someone may shoot you in the head and leave you for dead in a landfill. Upon awakening, you'll be haunted by the digital ghost of war veteran turned iconic rock star Johnny Silverhand, Keanu Reeves. believed to have died in 2023 during an attempted thermonuclear attack on Araska Tower. You'll learn from their Ripperdoc Victor Vector that Deshawn's bullet-triggered resurrection nanocheck on the biochip. In a few weeks, Silverhand's memories will irreversibly overwrite yours. The biochip cannot be removed, so you must seek out a way to remove Silverhand and survive. Following the events on Tachanka and the failed coup by Cerberus to take over the Citadel, the Quarians will offer their support to the Alliance if Shepard helps them reclaim their homeworld, Rannoch, from the Geth. Maybe you'll have to board a Geth dreadnought, rescue a captive Geth ally, and then disable the Reaper control signal over the Geth. Who knows? I understand things are different than when I was 17, back when Jack revealed that the Sword of Aeons could only be wielded if it received the blood of Archon. The Sword of Aeons is said to be a very powerful sword of destruction, and if Jack had destroyed the only two remaining descendants of Archon, the sword would have been even more powerful. Back when I was 17, Arthur became concerned that Dutch was no longer the man he knew, and he was becoming insular, abandoning their ideals and murdering Cornwall. He was faced with his mortality when he was diagnosed with tuberculosis. Arthur reflected on his actions and how to protect the gang following his death, telling John to run away with Abigail and Jack and openly defying Dutch by aiding the local Native American people. When the Pinkertons assaulted the camp, Dutch became paranoid that a gang member was working as an informant. Several gang members became disenchanted and left, while Dutch and Micah arranged one final heist of an army payroll train. But it doesn't have to go that way for you. Apex Legends includes a non-verbal communication ping system, which will allow you to communicate to your squad certain directions, local weapon locations, enemies, and suggested strategies. While Being 17 offers movement options similar to other shooters, it includes some of the features such as the ability to climb over short walls, slide down inclined surfaces, and use zip lines to traverse an area quickly. Because of this, in your search for the Black Hand, you'll be able to ally yourself with Hirgon, a ranger deserter who leads a community of Gondorian outcasts choosing to settle in Mordor, and Ratbag the Coward, an orc who will offer to bring you closer to the Black Hand in exchange for your assistance in military hierarchy. At 17, you may help Ratbag ascend the ranks to the level of War Chief by killing each of his immediate supervisors and aid Hirgon in destroying a statue of Sauron. And sure, you may find the facility is overrun by demons after one of Hayden's researchers, Olivia Pierce, makes a pact with them and uses the tower to open a portal to hell, but don't worry too much. In desperation, Hayden will release the Doomslayer from his sarcophagus to repel the demonic invasion and close the portal before contacting him to offer to work together and resolve this problem in a way that benefits them both. And so what if at the Northern Crater the party learns that the Sephiroths they have encountered are Genova clones created by the insane Shinra scientist Hojo? Confronting the real Sephiroth while he is killing his clones to reunite Genova's cells, you may again be manipulated into delivering the black materia. Sephiroth will then taunt you by showing another soldier in your place in your memories of Nibelheim, suggesting that you are a failed Sephiroth clone. But I know you'll be okay. Sephiroth will summon Meteor and seal the crater. You'll fall into the life stream, and the party will be captured by Rufus. After all, Epic was ready to release this as a second mode from Save the World in a paid-for earlier access, but then later decided to release it as a free game supported by microtransactions. You see, Being 17 is like the immortal Severance, where the dragon heritage is removed at the cost of Kuro's life. Sekiro chooses to follow the divine child on a journey to return the dragon heritage to its birthplace. Think about it. I just want to make sure that upon entering Stilton's mansion, you don't discover that you've gone insane after witnessing Delilah's resurrection. But even if that happens, remember with the aid of the Outsider, you can travel back in time and observe the Clown Killer, Jindosh, Ashworth, and the Duke pulling Delilah from the void. Afterward, Delilah will siphon part of her soul into a statue, making her immortal. I expect, with the help of the Hyrulean races, you'll board the 4 divine beasts and purge them of Ganon's monsters, releasing the spirits of Hyrule's former champions and allowing them to pilot the divine beasts once again. After obtaining the Master Sword from the Lost Woods, you'll enter Hyrule Castle and defeat Ganon, with the help of the divine beasts and Zelda's Bow of Light. Zelda will seal Ganon away, restoring peace and allowing the spirits of King Roam and the champions to depart to the afterlife. Sensing their presence, you and Zelda will smile fondly. Because ultimately, even if the knight discovers that they are a failed vessel, one of 100 who has failed to be chosen, you'll learn you had the strength to escape the abyss from which all void originates. That's what it means to be 17.